Where the fuck is that village? Right. Hi everyone, and today I'm going to do a video with Natalie Charmer from Charmer Tuitions. And Natalie has joined me to talk about burnout because that is a key feature for all of us who are practitioners. So I'm not only talking to probation officers. I know loads of you find my video because you're probation officers, but it's not just probation officers, it's teachers, mental health practitioners, counsellors, nurses, all of us that have a deep connection and desire to help and care for other people. And we're really good at that. We're really good at what we do. And we help people with all the tools to help them navigate their life and improve their life. Meanwhile, our life is fading into insignificance, into the background, and we're just drowning in this just cycle of burnout. So I just wanted to change things up a bit on the YouTube channel and actually chat to real life people that have implemented different techniques into their life consistently, not perfectly because we're not perfect, but just to help change their life so it can inspire you and so that you can feel connected to someone else as well and know that you're not alone and they're going through the same thing. So thanks, Natalie, for being here.
Thank you for having me, Sarah. I'm really excited. Always
Yeah,
like to have a little conversation.
we do, don't we? Take it off WhatsApp and into YouTube realm.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, do you want to just like briefly introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your background before where you are now? So
Yeah,
what was happening kind of before when you was in that kind of burnout phase?
yeah. Okay. So as Sarah said, I'm Natalie Charmer. I'm now an online writing tutor in English literature and language and also in drama. And my background, just coming up to where I am now, I used to be a classroom teacher. I was a full-time classroom teacher, and I've been in education for over 10 years. So I've worn many hats over the years. I did cover, before was a teacher, I did cover. I was a attendance mentor, everything you could think of, I did. And then I experienced burnout when I was a classroom teacher and after I had my daughter. So after I had my daughter and I came back from maternity, I felt extreme burnout. I had a horrible manager, and she was very tyrannical and just extremely unreasonable with certain things that I needed to do. And you would think, I really thought doing a teaching job, I thought, oh yes, they're going to be reasonable, they're going to be flexible with time because they know that I have children. And they weren't flexible. Time was actually even worse. And I decided to leave the classroom. I actually took the step of leaving the classroom, but this is quite interesting how I left the classroom. So before I left the classroom, I have been tutoring. I've been tutoring since before the pandemic, and then I took it seriously after the pandemic and after I did a tutoring course online by Joanne Kaminsky, and then I took it seriously online tutoring. So I was always online tutoring and I was doing classroom teaching, but I decided to leave the classroom last year. And I think what kind of pushed me to leave is because I actually got another job for a private school, not naming any names because it doesn't exist anymore. so so I got this job and I was really excited. Like, it ticked all the boxes when it comes to self-care and stuff like that. And then yeah, they didn't send me a contract, and then I kept contacting them like, oh, where's the contract, and then they finally told me that, you know, the issues were upstairs, like the trust or whatever, and then they're going to close down the school. And then I sat there with a big decision to make, thinking, okay, I can either stay in the job that I absolutely hate, and do my tutoring on the side, or I can just take the plunge and actually leave my job and do my online tutoring. And I decided to do my online tutoring and leave the classroom altogether. And it's been the best decision I've made, because it actually has helped me when it comes to my burnout. And I didn't realize how burnt out I was until I left the classroom, because it started to take its toll on me. I was really exhausted, really tired. I just felt it in my body. I wasn't really, I've always exercised, but not consistent. Nothing was consistent. And so it kind of it helped me to carve out, like, what type of day job do I want that will complement my life. And it helped me to prioritize, okay, what is going to be best for me? What is going to be best for my family? And what is going to fit into my self-care, instead of the other way around, trying to fit self-care into a job, which that's what I was doing before. And so it's been the best decision for me to leave. And I don't want to deter people from classroom teaching, because if you are in a job as a classroom teacher and you enjoy it and you're getting edified and you're getting supported by your manager, then that's totally different. Like, more power to you, that's fantastic. But I was not in that position. So so that's my
and I think I just want to touch on something you said there that I think will really resonate with the people that are watching. You were in the classroom teaching, then you had a baby, and then you came back to it, and that's when, I think you mentioned, that's when you started your tutoring, or did you start it before? But it just sounds like that is the key thing that us women are going through. It's like a pivotal moment in our life that we're not prepared for, the grief of losing our old identity, having a child, and all the responsibilities that come with that. So how do you think, whether it's looking back, did you know in the moment that, what impact did that have on you? And was you even aware of that, or is it only looking back?
I think I wasn't aware of it straight away, because I just thought, sometimes you think it's in your head. I was only aware when it got really bad. When it got really bad to the point where I was snapping at my husband, and I was snapping at my daughter, when I was snapping at my loved ones, when I was feeling overwhelmed, when I was crying for no reason. That's the times when I realized, okay, this is getting quite bad. I'm bringing my work home. That's when I thought, this is getting bad. When I'm contemplating, I need to go to the doctor and get signed off sick. That's when I thought, okay, this is when it's getting bad. And because I was in my teaching job for that particular school, I was in that school for about 7 years. So I was there for a long time, and I thought I always pushed it under the rug. But I'm thankful for that time, because if I didn't deal with that, in particular when it comes to, my manager and the issues that I had, I would have never taken that step to do my online tutoring, to actually carve out a life that is best suited for me and for my family. So
I think that's it. It's like, life is always like, no life is going to be all the time happy. And I feel like, as bad as it is, those times where we are literally burning and we're on fire, that encourages us to think life is not working. And it really pushes us past the fear of what if, and it's like, I have to do something. So like, for you and for me as well, it's like, we both didn't know each other at that time, but we've gone through exactly the same thing, where we're pushed to our point where it's like, I have to do something to change my life because this life is not working. So yes, it was horrendous in the time, but it's pushed both of us to like start our business and follow a passion of what we really, really like. And that doesn't mean that that pathway is going to be, you know, all glorious, but at least we're on a pathway towards actually living a life that we want to live, and we're learning on the way new things.
Yeah, because you almost feel at peace. I feel at
Yeah,
peace
yeah,
now.
yeah,
I didn't even know what that was.
yes,
You know, people say,
yeah,
I'm at
yeah,
peace. What's peace? Like, you thought
yeah.
you had peace by just having a cup of tea. I'm not talking about that peace.
It's
Even
not enough.
when,
It's not enough.
even in my business, if, like, for example, I might lose a client or something, I'm like, yes, it's annoying, but I feel at peace because I'm like, this is what I've signed up to do. This is what I've
Yeah,
signed up to
yeah,
do.
yeah,
I am really I'm happy with the journey that I'm on now. And I didn't feel like that. I didn't feel like that when I was in teaching. I remember a student asked me when I was in the classroom in my old school, and they said, "Miss, are you happy?" And I said, "What do you mean? What do you mean I'm happy? Like, why are you asking me that?" And it was like, "Are you
yeah,
happy?" And I looked at them and I was like, "I'm not actually."
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
that
yeah,
made me nearly want to cry, because I was like, wow, that realization that I'm not actually happy in
yeah,
the moment that I'm in now. Obviously you have moments of not being happy, but I'm talking about
yeah,
being content of your life and where it's going. I
yeah, yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
happy of where it was going. I wasn't
yeah,
happy at all. So
yeah, yeah.
when you are having those moments, you have to confront that. You have to
Mm.
confront. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it is a real like individual journey, like that confrontation of it,
Mm.
of kind of figuring out, okay, where like you are responsible. It's kind of realizing that I'm the only person that's going to be able to get myself out of this feeling and forwards.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask you now a few more practical things, because you've shared about kind of your struggles before burnout and what kind of led you on your way out. One of them, which was finding your passion, following your passion, setting up a business. And it doesn't mean everyone here has to be setting up a business. It's just that doing something that you love, you know.
Mm.
For you and I, it's in us to help people, to teach people. So in whatever capacity that is, we both know deep down that is our passion. So that is going to help us feel more content. And yes, we're going to have those stressful times and down days, but we are following our purpose and our passion. And I think you have to stop. It was only through like myself as well, stopping and kind of blanking everything out. And it wasn't like I'm going to stop so I can figure out my purpose. It was only in the stopping I was able to kind of realize that's not working, that's not working, that's not working. And kind of coming back to yourself of like, who am I when I'm not the teacher, the probation officer, the mum, the wife, blah, 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 that society wants to just shove onto our shoulders. So yeah, I want you to share now a bit about your like the practical aspects of what actual changes have happened in your life, whether they've been small shifts or like bigger changes.
I feel like the quality of family time is weird, but I feel like I have more time. I feel like I have more money. And I feel I've been forced to manage every area, especially when it comes to doing your own business. You have to manage everything, like especially if there's one person in your business, you have to manage every single aspect of it. And I feel like it has made me more prepared and more strategic in my actions. And I put self-care first, which I never did. And I never used to put myself first. I used to always put, being the wife, I put my husband first, I put my daughter first, I put my loved ones first, my friends first, and I never put myself first. But now I'm having weekly, sorry, there's a fly around me, it's getting on my nerves.
That was scary.
Yeah, like But no, I lost my train of thought now because of the fly.
Yeah, you were saying how you're putting everyone first, your family, your loved ones. And I was just thinking,
Yeah,
as you were talking, I'm curious to know what it is that contributes to that shift where you're like, hang on a minute, I'm putting everyone first.
your
What
book,
was it?
your book as well has helped me a lot because when did I read your book? 2 years ago. Was it two? Yeah, it was 2 years ago. I
Yeah,
read your
it
book.
was in 2020. I'll put it
Yeah,
here
read it one
and I'll put a
summer.
link in as
Success on
well.
Probation by Sarah Edwards. Your book really, it was a nice, easy read, and it really gave me that push to actually start my self-care and actually be consistent with it, because sometimes I would have time for myself and then I can go for months without having any time for myself. I can go on for maybe a few months not having a date night with my husband, like, and then with my daughter, she will have her time every week. She's having her time, she's having her time. And I thought to myself, I need to change this. This is not good. Like, this is not good. I'm not just a mum. I am a friend. I am, I'm a wife, but I'm Natalie. I'm Natalie first off. And I need to remember that. So now I'm having, with your book, it really went through those steps of just how to start having self-care. And now I have swimming. Like, every 2 weeks I go swimming on my own. Like, I always thought about swimming for my daughter, but then I found out, then you start getting creative, because then I found out on my daughter's membership, I can go for a swim for like £5 something on my own. And I was like, why haven't I used this? And she's been going swimming for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I have to start going swimming, and then going out with friends, and actually not feeling guilty about it. And when I was first doing it, my daughter did used to ask questions like, where are you going? Now she's quite happy. She's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have daddy time, or oh, I'm gonna be with my auntie, I'm gonna be with, like, she's happy.
And they want to hear about it as well. Like with my daughters, like they want to hear what I've been doing. They're like, oh, mummy, did you go to a restaurant? Or, what did you do? And then it instills in them that when they are a mum, if they want to be a mum, that it's okay for them to take time, because that has been role modeled to them. And that, for me, was never role modeled to me. My mum was just always there for us. Occasionally would go out on the evening, but, so I think it's really good that we're role modeling to our children and passing it down that your mum is a mum and she doesn't need to be there every night for you. It gives them, and it empowers them as well, that they don't always need mum. It's a bit like, the saying, I know it's just a saying, but it takes a village to raise children, because it's not just one parent. And I think that also contributes to this whole burnout thing. It's not just us within and we can't cope. There's no village to raise our children, whether you're in a 2-parent household or 1-parent household. Like, where the fuck is that village?
You know what is so easier? Like, people would say, oh yeah, oh, when you're going to have another one, or even if you don't have kids, when you're going to have kids. But these are the people that are never going to look after your children.
Where are you? Like, where are you now?
Where are you? If you ask, like, indifference. So, you know what I mean? You have to you have to use the resources that you have and do whatever you can with the time, with what you have, basically. I realized that, because sometimes you would make excuses to go, oh, well, I can't do this because I don't have this and I don't have that. No, you've got this, so just use that. And I don't feel no way to ask for help now. Like, I don't feel no way. I'm like, are you look, I'm doing this, can you look after can you look after my like, I don't feel no way to ask now. Before, I would never ask because you feel guilty and you feel like you're putting people out and stuff like that. But when are you going to have your time? Even with my husband and I ask, it's such an achievement for us to do spa dates, like, more than 3 times a year. Like, it's mad. Like, we do that. We didn't used to
Yeah.
do that, and even date nights and stuff. It's like we've stepped it up. I mean, there's a long way to go, as usual, with everything.
Yeah, of course.
Because
Yeah.
I do want to do like a weekend with my husband and let my daughter go and sleep around at a loved one's home or whatever. So that is the next step. But you know, you just got to just keep working at it, like the way we work on our children or work on our jobs and whatever. We need to work in that area as well.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think it's that kind of definition of success. You know, there's not only one way of success. Like, success is going to be different, and I think we've both got shared vision there about success. You know, it's about raising family, you know, as a like community, village, you know, delegating and having that more family time, following your passions. And it's not always about how much money you can get, or, you know, being in a 40 hours job. And I think that's where most people kind of get to. And it's like, okay, you get to that kind of crossroads where you got the burnout, you've taken time off sick, and it's like, kind of, what do you do? But yeah, good that you mentioned about the swimming. And I think it doesn't always have to, like, I used to think, exercise has to be like a whole hour long. Like, no, it doesn't have to be like 20 minutes. So when I go in the pool, 20 minutes. When I do yoga, maximum I'm doing is 30 minutes in the morning. Some mornings that's 10 minutes, and that's okay. And so yeah, you mentioned swimming, like time with your partner, spa times.
And you taught me to journal daily, and also my husband taught me as well to journal daily, and you taught me the gratitude, and I actually have been doing it, Sarah. I've been doing it every day. I've been doing a gratitude journal for a few months now since we spoke. It makes me grateful for, even those hard times, it just makes me grateful for what I have. I actually feel very grateful, even though I have a rant sometimes and whatever. That's normal, that's fine. But I feel gratitude for what I have. It's good.
So the gratitude journal. And how has the regular journaling helped you, and how did you manage to get consistent with it? Because I know you said at first you were inconsistent with your self-care stuff, which all of us are. Whenever we're starting a new practice, we're inconsistent with it. So what helped you be consistent, and what helped you, like, how has journaling impacted you?
I think thinking about certain times to do it in the day, like, that will suit me best. Like, for me, I would when I get up in the morning, I would pray, I would read a good book, 5 pages a good book, and journal. And when I do that in the morning, and I do it before bed. I feel that helps me a lot. And I don't, and sometimes I might be too tired to journal. It might be just a line. Like like, because sometimes, let's be honest, you just get really tired and you're like, you know what, I don't want to write anything. So it's just it can just be very simple things. But for me, I usually put my main goal that I ultimately want to achieve by the end of the year, and then I put what I'm grateful for. If I have a bit more time and have a little bit more energy, I will write, like, you know, I will write things about what's going on. But I tend to do it at set times in the day, because if I do it at any time, I just, and that's what I was trying to do before. I was doing it at any time, and then I used to and it'll end up being like a week me not doing it. And sometimes I might miss a day, and that's fine. But the aim of it is just, you know, trying to stick to that daily habit. It just becomes a habit.
So the consistency is like having a habit of the certain times in the day. And then what has been the impact on your kind of overall self by journaling those 2 times a day?
I thought I'm a lot calmer, because I did have a lot of anxiety, especially from the traumatic experiences I had with my job. And even during the pandemic, I think a lot of us were very anxious at that time. And I do feel that's significantly been reduced. I feel like I'm a lot calmer with certain situations. I would think more strategically instead of like hastily jumping into stuff like I used to do. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm just a calmer version of myself, basically, when it
Yes.
comes to
Yeah.
certain
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I just don't want to. I tend to not take a lot of things seriously anyway, but
Yeah.
I I I feel I'm a lot more. I feel I'm a lot more relaxed with certain things, and I feel
Yeah.
reflective. I could be reflective quicker on when it comes to certain situations, especially challenging situations, where before I it's almost like you can't see the elephant. You can't see the elephant in the
Yeah.
room. The
Yeah.
elephant is in the room.
Yeah.
You can't see the elephant. You can't see the core issue of
Yeah.
why you
Yeah.
are feeling upset. I even talk to myself. Like, I know that sounds like a
Yeah.
bit mad,
Yeah.
but not on the street, of course.
Yeah. Like I
But
think you have to
yeah,
talk to yourself,
yeah.
because
I'm like,
I don't know about
yeah,
you, but for myself and people that I end up coaching, there's that negative voice in our head that it's not us. That's that critical kind of parent voice, or that wherever that critical voice has come from. So you do have to kind of talk yourself to kind of override that.
yeah, yeah. And it's just that, yeah, having that conversation with yourself, how you're feeling, monitoring how you're feeling. Why do you feel like that? You might not get the answer straight away, but
Yes. Yeah.
eventually be
Yeah.
like, oh, I know why I felt like that, because that stems from what happened
Yeah.
that in
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
situation. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, it really teaches you to be more reflective in
Yeah.
your habits. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I think you touched on a really important point there about kind of having a space to like reflect on your feelings, like to process your feelings. Because I think from how we've both described, I know for myself, I wasn't really in touch with my feelings because I was go, go, go. There was always something. It was like whether I was getting the train to work, going to work, I was always outside of myself. And then my feelings would blow up, like you said, snapping at your close loved ones. My feelings would blow up. Whereas now with like journaling, I'm able to actually like feel, like process my emotions. And even I've been learning more recently as well, is to not just process them, but actually like feel and move through the emotions.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you have to like get your emotions out. So like one thing I do in my like programs and stuff is like a shake the day out thing. And it is to release, is like an adrenaline release, because we're all through the day, things happen. And if we don't let go of that, intentionally let go, like you might be doing exercise, but you're not intentionally letting go of that feeling, like recognizing, oh, I'm really angry at this, or oh, this made me really upset, or this made me that. Like release that emotion, write what your emotion is, and actually process and release it. Otherwise it just gets stuck in our body. And a lot of us, whether we're off sick because of mental health reasons or physical reasons, because we haven't actually processed the emotion. And that's what I've been learning a lot about lately. And whenever I'm learning it, I'm doing it as well, and then teach it. So yeah, I think that's a nice bit to end on. Do you want to share with us ways that people can get in touch with you, work with you, hear more about Natalie, maybe on the podcast,
Yes.
Nat?
Podcasts in the future coming up. But for now, if you have a teenager and they need help in English literature or language from year 7 up to GCSE level, I am the tutor for you. And just go to my website, allthews.charmertuition.com. I'm on Instagram as well, so that will take you to my Instagram. I've got a YouTube channel, and yeah, and I have got a freebie that you can get with a free writing checklist for your teenager to help them from year 7 up to GCSE.
Lovely. And yeah, like Nat mentioned, my book has been so helpful for those of you that feel like you're going through burnout. You're not alone, and you don't have to be a probation officer, even though that's in the title. It's helped teachers, tutors. And I have a course called Soothe Your Soul, and it incorporates everything that I've just spoke about with Natalie here today, and teaching you the tools to be consistent with your self-care, to know what self-care suits you, to know how to have the right boundaries, to know how to release and process your emotions, So I'll leave the link in the video so that you can sign up, and then you can join the Facebook group No More Burnout, where you can just find out a bit more updates and get that support of other people as well. So thanks for joining me, Nat.
Thank you,
I'm sure I'll see you in
Sarah.
real life soon.
Yes, we'll speak soon.
Bye.
Bye.